That's been 30 seconds. That's fast enough, right?
Not 1 minute. That is like the most stressful. I'm like, is he actually going to go a minute? And no. So.
No, it's just my way of screwing with you a little bit.
You're like, all right, you got a minute to get in there and share stuff. Cool. Okay.
But guess what? You're live.
You gave me an honest
30 seconds. I gave you 28 seconds. Yeah. Hey, that's more than you give your wife.
It's very kind of you to be so generous.
Wait. Here we go.
I'm taking a second. I'm going to share some.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live episode of the More Momentum podcast, featuring your host, Chris Holloway, who is preoccupied because I kind of was messing with him a little bit. But anyway.
Gypped me.
Yeah. Anyway. So let's see what we got in chat first.
What's new?
Oh, Sean Owens. What's up, y'all? Amazing people.
Nice. Love
Well, at least Chris is. We know.
Yeah. I'm sure.
How's everybody doing? We got a few more people trickling in there.
What you've been traveling a bunch. How was you go see family and then go to Florida and then
I went to Florida, came home, and then went to see my new grandbaby up in Springfield. So I was just there the other day.
Oh.
And back now, and then this weekend I head to Arkansas and then back, and then I go to Florida for Sun and Fun for the big air show.
Going back to Florida.
Yeah, back to Florida. 17 hours, dude.
We were just in the green room. We were just talking about airplanes. How come you're not flying?
Well, you know, there's this thing called cash flow.
I've heard of it. Yeah, got it. It's just
I can't make my balance sheet look good enough to get a bank to buy that note for me.
All right, I've shared this in enough groups now. So, welcome to the Momentum Podcast, where I, your host, Chris Holloway, get a chance to add catch line, phrase line. This podcast, we talk about MOORE Expo. We talk about the Midwest Discovery Route. We talk about other events that are going on, just kind of fun stuff. I'm always
cool brands.
Yeah. I'm always lucky to have some great guests. So, here in a little bit, joining us will be the team from one of my new toys, Flat Peak Level Tent. This contraption is pretty insane.
It is pretty cool.
It's cool. It's all stainless hardware. It's really stunning. But this baby goes underneath your rooftop tent, and you pull it to camp, say the front's down or the back's down. All you got to do is just lift your tent up and lock her in, and you're good to go. So it's an awesome desk toy. I've been enjoying playing with it. But it's even more fun on the tent. We used it a bunch this weekend running MDR. Yeah. So I don't know how I was going to ask you earlier, but I wanted to save it for everybody else because I know what the answer was. It was a success. How was Save?
It was. The weather was perfect. It was about 74. Night times were about 50, 55. So it was just perfect. Watched. I got some videos. I need to post them. I haven't had a chance to post them yet. But C-130 came over and made a low pass because we're there at the airport, and I noticed as he was coming over, the back door was down, and I was like, I thought maybe they were just making a pass to look or whatever. And all of a sudden, here comes this big crate out the back with a parachute, and they drop it out in the airfield right next to us because the event takes place on the west side of the airfield that they don't use anymore. And so I thought, well, dang, that's pretty cool. And so a few minutes later, I see it coming back around. So I grab the camera and I start videoing this thing. And all of a sudden, people start shooting out the back of it, parachuting out into the airport. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. It was like 4 people was all it was. Well, a few minutes later, come by, and I guess probably another dozen or two jumped out of the back of that thing right there at the airport, and they were low. I mean, low.
Really?
Yeah, and then after that, we had a couple of guys practicing for the air show, so I got to watch hammerheads and the little extra 300s, the little like they use in the Red Bull air races, those little planes like that. And so yeah, I watched them practice all their maneuvers and do their whole air show routine right over the top of us. It was insane, but the traffic for people was good. The weather was good. It was a great little place.
You were a kid in a candy store there. All the fun gear, equipment, friends,
Airplanes.
Yeah. Crates coming out of air, C-130s. Now, if
that was cool.
I was really hoping you were going to say like, oh no, Alyssa got it all planned out where they dropped a crated Jeep out, 6 guys landed around it, and then built the Jeep and took off. Like that would have been pretty cool.
You need to message her and tell her that next year she needs to do better.
I'm sure that wouldn't be pricey. Like
no.
I'm sorry we spent all of your advertising money on this, but it's really cool.
No, it was pretty neat, and it was nice to go back down to the South. I haven't really spent a lot of time in the South since I left and years ago, and seeing the Spanish moss and the live oak trees and alligators and that kind of stuff was kind of nice.
Yeah. Right back at home. Did you pick up your accent? Did it come in a little bit thicker?
No, I don't think so. I think if I spent some time down there, I'd probably pick that back up. But no, I think at least Felicia didn't think so. But you were, yeah,
it's there.
You were having a good time while I was out and about. You were running a cool trail.
Yeah. So Midwest Discovery Route is awesome. All of it is so cool. Like, dude, this thing turned into just such an amazing project. Like, if you go way back to year 1 of MOORE Expo, S'more to More was a guided route. So like, we'd get somebody to sponsor it, and their sponsorship was that they would be the trail guides, So the first year, I think it was Express Rally. And then the year after that, it was the guys from Re-Rover. But I mean, in 2 years, it got to the point where it's like, we got 60 rigs behind us. Like, this is not a cool convoy. It's ridiculous. Like, you can't run 60 rigs through Springfield without police escorts and all that kind of stuff. So, and also that was before Midland Radio jumped in. So it's like, you can imagine the chaos. Like, now we're pretty good. Like, everybody's got a Midland in their truck, at least 9.
Oh, yeah.
But then you fast forward to now, and it's like, dude, in the past 2 months, Ryan and I have ran, I'll bet we've done 3,000 miles, just like back and forth, north, south, east, west, back and forth, getting these routes dialed in.
Yeah.
And finalizing them. And they're incredible. So yeah, the one that I was just on was Tulsa, Oklahoma to Springfield for MOORE Expo. Honestly, like, I'd go out of my way to go run that one again. Not that Kansas City is not great. I love the Kansas City route too, but there are like 4 caves along the route. It's
nice.
We went and toured 2 of them. We did the Spanish Treasure Cave down there in Knoll, or maybe a little south of Knoll,
Missouri. Yeah.
And
that's right on the border too.
And then the Bluff Dwellers Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Then we found a cave that we could drive into.
I saw the pictures from that. That was cool.
Right? We drove in, turned around, like, got some really cool pictures in there. It was nice. We pulled up. There was a family in there picking up trash from some yahoo that made a big mess. But But yeah, it was clean in there, minus some graffiti and stuff. But it's just right off the side of the road. Like pull in, get your photos. You can. I was able to. The cave is large enough. I was able to fly the drone in it, which is cool.
That's pretty awesome.
All the sensors and buttons were letting me know, beep 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 beep. But I was in it. So that route, it took us 6 hours on Saturday running and gunning, and then another 6 hours on Sunday. Well, let's see. I bet we got out of camp at 10. Yeah, another 6 hours running and gunning. So definitely a 2-day trip if you're working it.
Yeah,
you really want to take your time. Like we did 2 cave tours, so that's out of 6 hours. That's 3. So if you're just in it for riding and gunning down the road, then no problem. But man, I like stopping, and that's kind of what this whole thing is. That's why it's the Midwest Discovery route. Like,
yeah,
we want people to know, like, man, you can pick a city, and then here's how you map it out. Like,
there's a lot more than just a dirt road.
There's so much more, like all these trestle bridges. Ryan, the rally master, is really good at finding caves, springs, trestle bridges.
I believe that's why he said caveman checking in.
Caveman checking in. He earned that nickname on the Arkansas route.
Did he?
But yeah, that guy, I watched him on I think it was the St. Louis route. I watched him try to climb into a hole that was about, this big down. Like, are you sure that's not a culvert? No, it's in the side of a mountain. I'm like, all right.
I'm not doing it.
So, man has no fear, and there is no cave that will go unexplored.
There you go.
So, yeah, no, that's turning out to be really great. Registration's doing good on it. For any of you that are thinking about it but haven't registered, if you have any questions or concerns, shoot me a note. I'm on all that social comes to me. If you send an email in to the info it's your guy right here. It's me responding to you. So
I can tell you this: the site looks great. Your website looks great. You've updated all the exhibitors, and there are a slew of new exhibitors.
I know. Yeah.
And one of them you have tonight.
Yep. Yeah, we've got Daniel and Brian with Flat Peak. Are they did Brian figure out his computer?
Yep, I think he's good to go. He gave me the thumbs up. I think it was a thumbs up. That may have been a middle finger. I'm not sure, but no, it was a thumbs up. So you want me to bring him in for you?
Yeah, let's see what's going on with these guys.
All right, we'll bring him in. I'll be back. I'll be back here if you need me.
All right. Any questions, pop them up. But let's welcome these guys. Big welcome to the MOORE Expo family for Flat Peak.
Let's see. There's one. There's one.
Daniel.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Yeah, appreciate you guys having us on.
Absolutely. Super stoked about this. And Daniel, first time meeting you.
Yes, sir.
Excited. Brian and I have chatted and talked a bunch throughout the course of booking vendor space and product testing the system and playing with all the gadgets and toys. So it's good to meet you. Super excited to kind of introduce you guys to MOORE Expo and our amazing community, whether they're attendees or people that follow from afar. But this product is just, in the 11 or 12 years that I've, been off and on having rooftop tents, it's always been like, why can't I figure out a way to level this? I remember I had my first attempt at it was a little 4x6 teardrop trailer. Yep. And it was like, how do I figure out like getting jack stands or they break it, and it was just never right. And then a mutual friend was like, "Hey, check these out." And I'm like, "All right." So, and that's where we got linked up. But tell us how this all started. Like, how'd you figure out the need and know that needed an answer?
Oh man, so I would say about 3 years ago, I just really wanted a rooftop tent, and I just was saving up, and all that jazz. And I finally got one of those Rome Adventure rooftop tents, and I was real excited. Had my girlfriend with me and all that. I mean, we went out one time, and I live out in Colorado, and so nothing's level or anything that jazz. And I mean, we got off work on a Friday night. It's dark when you get up there, so I couldn't find any rocks or anything of that jazz. So we were just tired, just rolling into each other all night. It's just like sleeping on a trampoline. And I came back and I called Brian. I was like, there's got to be something, just something to make this all easier. Just from, digging up rocks and all that and carrying those little stackable things. It just seems like an inconvenience to me. So I just really wanted to design something that was easy for camping. You just want to get up there and you just want to enjoy the time. You don't want to be setting up the entire time.
Are you guys both engineering background?
Just Brian, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I claim that I'm engineering from birth because my father's an engineer. So I grew up, I grew up just we designed everything that needed to be fixed, and figured out some way to do it. We had a little tool shop in the basement. And then for the last 10 years now, I've been working for a metal shop. So I got really into the metallurgy of things, understanding the manufacturing process and doing secondary engineering for some of our customers. They'd send us something and we'd be like, yeah, that can't be made, but let's figure out what you need. And that was it. Dan called me and he was like, hey, there's got to be a way to do this. He's like, can you make me some brackets so I can put some scissor jacks in between the rooftop tent and my truck? And we started there, and we very quickly realized why that's not possible. And so we just kind of went down this line, and I think this ended up being like iteration 87, 2.5 years later, that we actually got something that worked, made sense. And it was probably iteration 15, we turned around and we're like, we could probably sell this. So let's try and make something that's not just like clap together and make it look good, make all the materials work well, and start seeing where this goes.
Yeah, so nice. Brian, we're getting some audio pop on your end.
Of course.
So I'm going to let you fix that, and then I'm going to quiz Daniel on
that. Yeah, you chase Dan. I will see what I can do.
Yeah, see, you might probably be able to get away without the headphones. I don't normally use them here.
That might be it.
Put them down, and I'm bringing this up. So we're talking all stainless steel here?
All stainless steel.
Yeah, 100% made in the USA.
All in the USA, yep.
Yeah. Where is this being manufactured?
It's being manufactured actually in Rockford, Illinois.
And this is the shop that Brian works at?
Yes, sir.
Nice. How's your how many people do you have on staff?
Right now we just got me and Brian, and just brothers and sisters and stuff like that. So it's a small family little business in that nature, and just chugging along as slow as we can.
That's a loaded question, and the answer is awesome, because it's like when anybody has a question or they want to know more, like they're going to talk to you guys, right?
Yeah.
But explain. Let's see. I want to try to see if I can put this thing up here so people can see it. But explain a little bit about how it works.
So for the rooftop tent leveling device, so if you on the bottom there, that'll mount to your car brackets that go across, like what the Brian's shown. Perfect. So that will be held together by a U-bolt. So that with your cross brackets for your tent that you can do, roof racks and all that in your tent, you can mount it with a U-bolt by that. And then the part where you have your hand on right now, that part will connect to your tent, and that'll swivel back and forth. So if you're raising all your sides and stuff like that, it won't bind your tent or anything of that nature. We also have a locking device. So where your where the handle is, that'll move back and forth. So it's kind of like a safety precaution.
Oh,
Perfect.
nice.
We got a video right here. That's exactly it. This would be way
These
better
are
than me.
awesome. I know nobody ever tells you that except for your lovely wife. But friend to friend, dude. I love you.
Exactly. So just like in the video here where Brian's doing, you can push up on the tent and move it down to 3.75 inches is like the closing. And then what he's doing there is pushing the pin in. So it's like a double safety mechanism. So with the teeth will slide back and forth, if that makes sense. So when you're in the locking position that you want to be leveled in, you'll lock it back together, kind of like Brian's here doing. And then that'll be like your safety device. So it won't move or bind or anything of that nature. You can push it up and down. You can extend it all the way up to 12 inches. You obviously won't need that, but you got room to play with. The whole unit all together in the box, if it comes in a box, is 12 pounds, including the hardware. And yeah, that's really the product, is to level out your device or your level tent. You can go camping anywhere. You don't have to go to those camping parks, go hang out with all the people. If you want to get out by yourself somewhere, you can just get lost, find a nice, beautiful view. It could have a little bit of a slope, and you can just park right up and hang out.
So I've been using it. Let's see. I think I put it on right before we started running the Midwest Discovery Route stuff, which this has been, it's nice. More camping than I've done all year. I think I've got 8 or 10 trips under my belt in the past 2 months, which is great.
Oh, great. Wow.
But I was even, I got them. I'm like, I don't really know exactly how they work. Still trying to, it's like, I'm going out. I'm going to make sure I can level. So I'm throwing the traction boards in the truck. They're not mounted anywhere. So it's up to me to remember to stick them in.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, well, I'm not getting stuck, so I don't need them. We're out running back roads. But then this last trip, I didn't even throw them in the truck. I'm like, all right, I got the hang of it. I know where we're at. And I mean, it doesn't have to be that extreme. Like, we're not talking, you don't need them just because you're always camping on the side of a mountain. The first campsite that we were at, just before we even started running this last route, we were, I don't know, the truck just had a normal little slope to it. And it's like, all right, on the back side, if you're doing the back, it's helpful to have a friend on the other side lift the back of the tent up and get it to lock in. But I mean, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Boom, just raise it up like an inch or 2 inches. What do they go? 1 inch increments?
Yeah, they're 1 inch increments, and it's like, depending on where you space everything out, is 1.5 degree increments.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I probably just brought it up 2 inches on the back.
Okay.
Perfect. Funny part is I forgot to put it back down before we left, and rolling with a rig tent for a while. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
A little bit extra downforce.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Little
exactly,
NASCAR
right.
downforce.
if you need a spoiler. Let's see. Checking in from Kansas City, Missouri. Looking forward to the St. Louis route. All right. So DK is going to go. He's going to bypass Kansas City, shoot over to St. Louis, and take that route. Good choice. That's a fantastic route. Bring the fly rod.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, bag some trout. I think there's trout fishing on the east and west. I'm not sure if the southern route has trout fishing. We can catch some bass on any of them. So that's cool. But yeah, just rolling with that. And so all stainless. I mean, this thing it's built like a tank, right?
I use it as a hammer to put stakes in, because I have like 10 of these in my truck. You just open it up and swing it.
Or a wet, like self-defense.
Yeah. I mean,
Nobody's gonna mess with you if you're wielding one of these. Like, hey, put your finger in here.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, and it's new enough that the cops probably couldn't figure out what the shape is on the indentation. Not that I watch like SBI or NCIS.
Yeah, yeah. There are definitely enough true crime podcasts and TV shows going on in our house that we all know
Right.
about antifree. Yeah, that's I forget what show that was, but yeah. Anyway, it's super red. So all stainless, no rust, right?
Yeah, no rust. These actual black pieces here, they're architectural aluminum to cut down on weight. So everything that's silver, stainless, everything that's black is aluminum. We've tested it up to 1,500 pounds. And I mean, the ones that we tested with 1,500 pounds are sitting on my truck right now. So they're the ones I used. There was no damage at all. I accidentally, the first time we actually put it on there, I drove to Pennsylvania and I accidentally drove through a tornado on the way there. And yeah, no issues. And
Accidentally.
then, yeah, there was like the remnants of a hurricane when I was in Pennsylvania. So I slept through that. And it didn't move at all. It was kind of cool. It was a good like test run because it was kind of like the elements were just like, here, you want to see if this really works?
Yeah.
There's only so much testing you can do on the ground. And I mean, we've done the ISO certifications and checked all of the crash test ratings, which I was surprised how lenient I thought that they were. I assumed it was going to be like, 80 miles an hour into a brick wall or something, but like 20 miles an hour to a dead stop, which
Huh.
doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, that's still, I don't want to get hit by a truck going 20, but
I don't want to be in a truck going 20 and come to a dead stop either.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It wouldn't be fun, but I don't know. I was expecting more like highway force stuff.
So you guys, this is a new company, new startup, right?
Yeah.
How long has it been available for purchase?
July 2nd of last year, so 9 months now.
9 months. Do you know how many sets you've got out in the wild?
Somewhere around 20 something, I think,
Okay.
are floating around on people's trucks, or I guess they're putting them on their trucks now. There was a lot of winter stuff that people just have them sitting in their garage and they haven't put everything on yet.
I get it. Yeah. It'd be great on trailers too. Perfect. I mean, for wherever you're putting the rooftop tent. So then, where have you guys been? Like, what's it like just getting into the industry because what I love about MOORE Expo in the community is I'm consistently meeting young solopreneurs that are either designing and building awesome trailers or stuff like this, or they've found their niche and they've found the fix to a problem in the industry. What's it like coming into the overland industry? Like, so from an enthusiast or participant or hobbyist or whatever you want to call it, an adventurer, an overlander, but coming in on the business side of it, what's that been like for you guys?
I would have to say it's also been pretty great. Just meeting, like going to these expos and stuff like that, and just meeting other companies and individuals. Like everyone's been so welcoming and open arms, really. And they'll be like, "Hey, go talk to so and so," or "I know so and so." It's not like anyone's hiding or holding anything back. It just seems like just like how all outdoor people are, just super inviting and just like, "Here, I'm here to help. What can I do for you?" Like, looks like you got a good product and stuff like that. Like, what can I do? Stuff like it just seems very inviting, I would say.
That's
Honestly,
awesome.
like a breath of fresh air. Like, because I work in manufacturing and there's a lot more competition and it's harder to work with people. And here you can just like shoot a text or give someone a call and they're like, oh yeah, like that's how I ended up finding you was Cindy. I reached out to
Exactly.
someone on Facebook and they gave me Sydney Hope out of Northology. And then she was like, oh dude, you need to go to MOORE. Talk to Chris. I'll introduce you. He'll hook you up. And it's
Yeah.
just kind of daisy chain that way. And it's interesting because it's like a really small community with a whole bunch of people all over the country. Everyone
That's
seems to
true.
know everyone, but everyone's like 100 miles away from each other.
Yeah, it's kind of the old boys club. You know, you always know. Like I'm heading out west in June, and I'm looking at all the cities and states that we're going to be going through. Like, all right, I got friends there, and then the next city over, and then the network is large, but the community is tight. I love it.
Exactly.
So I kind of want to talk about, the process in getting this, as an engineer, and especially working in manufacturing, I can assume that you're probably kind of a perfectionist and a bit of a picky person when it comes to putting any of your work out and in front of people, taking safety into consideration and, ergonomics and that type stuff. But like, what did the designs look like for this? Because a lot of people are going to ask, why not use a screw jack? And it's the same thing that I asked. So,
Mhm.
you know, I definitely think that you guys should touch on that. But what was the timeline like that for these?
So the first iteration or the first start of this was when Dan told me, he was like, "Hey, I'm looking online. I can't find anything. Help me look online." And
Oh, there we go.
does it better?
It cut out for a second.
Yeah, it might just be my computer at this point because I did upgrade my internet since the last time we talked. Um, I'm trying one thing at
You're
a time.
good. You're good.
Um,
Just build cool stuff. Don't worry about the technology.
yeah, right. But so we started by looking up everything that was available online, and then we got to the conclusion that you're either using RV blocks, um, the traction boards, or you're finding rocks or dealing with it. And that second or the our first iteration was, well, let's get some brackets. I can make some brackets in the shop. We'll go to Harbor Freight. We'll get some screw jacks and we'll put this on the four corners. And before we even started that, we kind of were thinking through everything because we had to make the brackets, and we realized that the downfall of using screw jacks is that they don't go up and down on their own. So if you're unscrewing one or if you're raising one corner, there's at least one other side that wants to raise up with that jack. And so unless you have two people moving simultaneously, working both jacks at the same speed, you're going to end up breaking either and probably your tent, but either your tent or your roof rack or something's going to end up giving out because you're getting tension in there. And so then our next iteration ended up being a ratchet strap version, where we took paracord and we created a similar system to how a ratchet strap work, where you're cranking it, and so it would pull the two ends together and raise up the rooftop tent, and then it would secure everything down with rope. Um, but one that ended up being wildly heavy and incredibly expensive to manufacture. And by the time we got onto the trail, it was bouncing all over the place because we were just using paracord, so there just wasn't enough holding force to hold the tent on there. And then that's kind of where this came in. We used the same frame, or we used a similar frame to test these teeth, and the teeth was really what made this work, and it just came from um, a design. So if you go to it, I don't even know. I haven't seen them at a resort in a long time. But you go to like a beach resort or a pool or something. They used to have those old chairs in the 90s that were all white, and you would pick
Yeah,
them
beach
up,
chairs. Yeah.
and it would catch them. Yeah, the beach chairs, and that's kind of where this hook design came from. But we knew this had the lock, and so we came back and created the locking mechanism.
Yeah. Okay. I see that your arm slides would lock it in, right?
Yep.
A couple of those.
Yeah, and then instead of just like lifting it up and setting it back down, we had to lock it in, and so that's how that bracketry ended up getting set up. And after some testing and a couple iterations to bring some strength into this, I think we ended up using a few different materials, and then we kept playing with the brackets because of the amount of weight that's really needed. I mean, some of these tents are up at like 215 pounds, and we were trying to to get everything in there, and 215 pounds is a decent chunk of weight to have bouncing around on these things going down the road, putting 10,000 on.
Yeah. Let's see. Mine. Let me look. My tent is.
You have the roof space too, right?
Yeah. Do you know what it weighs?
Yeah, so it says on the package it weighs 147, and the only reason I know this is because I put it on my truck yesterday.
Okay.
I don't believe it weighs 147. I feel like it weighed a little bit more than that.
I was thinking like 165.
Right? It took me, my father, and my sister's fiance, and my sister to get it up on the top of the truck. I was like, this thing is beefy. So, and especially I had a Tepui, and that thing, I mean, you could almost throw that up onto your rack by yourself. It's pretty light, and
Yeah.
it's definitely a cheaper tent. I mean, we picked it up because it was like $600. It was like the starter tent on getting into rooftop tents, but there's a weight difference for sure. And I know this one's way more durable. It's got way more years, but
Yeah. It's pretty much an armadillo. I mean, it's fully enclosed. I'm really enjoying mine. I've got to camp in it more this winter than I did the whole nice season having it, and it's doing great. So with the roof space tent too, like these are also helpful to get you up in the air a little bit. Like that roof space has the end cap that folds down.
Mhm.
I'm honestly not sure that I would have been able to flat mount that tent anyways.
That's one of the things we liked about it. Because when we were playing around with just rooftop tents, I mean, getting your hand in between the rooftop and um and your roof rack, it's hard. And I at least have smaller hands. Dan's hands are like times and a
Soft.
half times mine. Yeah, he's got some solid hands. and, and so I can stick my hands in small places, but it's just it's interesting. And this allows you to, I mean, the way I set it up is I always put this on the rack first, and then I put the tent on top. And so you have all of this distance. I've gotten a full socket set in here. And
Yeah.
instead of sitting there with just trying to crank, I mean, you're going fully around. I think, Dan, the last time you put your tent on, you said it took you like 10 minutes to put it on.
Yeah, for that, because I just used an electric ratchet and got under there. So instead of, I mean, when I had my tent, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It took me 2 hours, a quarter turn by quarter turn,
With
just
the
trying to get in there. Yeah.
And then, yeah, who knows how many rub marks are on.
Oh, don't even get me started. Yeah.
It actually came in handy. We just wrapped my Tundra, and I had to pull.
Nice.
I wanted to pull the roof rack, the tent, and the light bar. It's all one unit. But I'm like, oh man, I gotta pull the tent off. I'm gonna pull the light bar off and the roof rack. Why? So I just lifted the tent up, extended this thing all the way fully to the top, and then we took a forklift and went right underneath the tent, and then unbolted the roof rack, and
That's
the
awesome.
whole shoot match came right off. It was perfect. There's Chris Carr. I saw Cindy in here earlier. Brian, you're getting a lot of love, man.
Like I said, it's a tight community of just really nice people. And
Yeah, it goes
this
right back
is
to that.
everyone, yeah, you just get to meet. And I've been luckier than Dan. He's been working a lot because he's doing plane mechanics, and they need him there all the time. But I've been able to go to a lot of these shows and meet a lot more people, which is
What-
nice. This is Dan's year. We're kind of yanking him out and getting him on the road with.
There we
I'm
go.
actually going there Wednesday to pick him up. I go to California.
You'll never regret it. Oh, are you guys going to SoCal?
We're trying to, so we're still talking to him. It's a little. We're either going to SoCal or we're driving to Utah and going to a bunch of mom and pop shops and seeing if we can get these things in stores.
Yeah. Yep.
Either way, we'll be out camping, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's
Oh, yes.
nice. That's a hefty drive to Southern California. That is no joke.
Yeah, I think from here it's 29 hours straight.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
unless
18 for me. Yeah.
you're doing the cannonball.
Yeah, right. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a 2005 Toyota 4Runner with 285,000 miles on it. Yeah,
You're still good for another
it'll
100,000.
be fine. Yeah, it just goes
Toyota.
75 is kind of where it caps.
You'll be all right. The nice thing is we have a great network around that area, so you get hemmed up, and there's plenty of people to reach out to.
Yeah.
So
See.
what? Speaking of events, where have you guys shown this? In person, and what kind of feedback are you getting? How are you displaying it when you go to events? Like, how do you explain this to people? When they come up and have never seen anything like it.
So we've been to a couple shows. We've done the Colorado Loveland Overlanding Expo. We've actually showed with Big Rock. We went to their show in Nashville, Tennessee in early January, I would say. And yeah, we were having great feedback coming from everybody. Yeah, pretty much anyone we talk to, we get really great feedback. I will say, verbally talking about it, some people are kind of like, oh, I'm not sure what that is. But once they see a visual or a video or you show them in person, then they can wrap their mind around what the product is, I feel like. And it's like a whole poof, like, oh, wow. And like, as you said, like great reception from that. And yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. But that's most of the shows we've gone to lately. And we're talking to some companies right now, talking about selling in their stores and stuff like that. So we're just, small, but moving forward.
Yep.
Moving along. It's a lot of fun. We actually kind of have to catcall people from the aisle at the trade shows because they kind of look and they're like, all right, cool. It looks like a rooftop tent because we built a box because the Big Rock show was inside, so we couldn't really drive our truck inside. And so we built a simulation rooftop tent. We mounted this on the bottom, and then we put some sawhorses underneath that we used for our roof rails. And so people were walking by, and you get like that, what are you doing? And we'd just be like, hey, have you ever seen a rooftop tent leveler before? And if you speak fast enough, it stops them, and they just turn around. They're like, what did you just say to me?
Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that guy took my wallet. What? Now that
Yeah. Yeah, right. You just got to be clickbait, but in person. It's kind of fun, and we've been friends since high school, so 11 years now, 10 years now. So it actually gets to a point like halfway through the show that we both get kind of stir crazy, just like standing the whole time. And we have to like continually pull ourselves back into like a professional mode when people walk by.
Yeah, I get it. Working shows, especially when you're with a pal, is so much fun. Like
it is.
You can make a busy day go by so fast, but still, come out of it with so many fun memories. Like a busy day at a show, I always feel like is kind of the way that like my wedding reception was. Like I saw so many people, I had so many conversations. I just like you play a ESPN highlight reel in your head. It was, but then even a slow day when. A lot of events are still doing Sundays, which any event that I've been to, they're kind of more networking days or, whatever you want to call it. But man, you can have some serious fun and really make the best out of it. So that's cool. It's nice to see friends coming together and forming alliances and businesses. I've found with MOORE Expo and Power Sports and Big Iron, it's like, you are who you surround yourself with, and the most amazing people come out of the woodwork to lift you up and make you more great than you could ever imagine that you were going to be. And that starts really close with the friends that you've got. If I didn't have the friends that I have that supported me from day one and take off a week of work to come down and help with the expo, like it wouldn't have that nice feel of the Midwest nice, that vibe to it. It's like it's cool that you guys are doing that stuff. So what what are you guys thinking? 5-year plan? Are there any other ideas brewing?
Lots. That's
Yeah.
kind of right now it's kind of that point where like we have to sit down and like focus because as you go camping and you start doing stuff between
Yep.
people walking up and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. You made that." They're like, "Here's another idea." And then just like everything you think of, it's like, "All right, we gotta at least launch one, get it moving, get it sustainable by its own, and then kind of start formulating stuff." Because we'll sit there and like we'll be talking business and we'll be talking marketing, and then we'll like go off on a side tangent, and me and him will end up with like 5 napkin blueprints of like the next 5 products we're coming up with, and we're like, wait, we were talking about marketing. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Let's finish one
Ain't that the
thing.
truth?
Yeah.
I could see some Starlink mount kind of stuff in your future. You guys thinking sticking with exterior vehicle storage designs, or have you got ambitions to get inside the vehicles or anything like that?
No, I mean, we're up for anything, pretty much whatever is a need, and then we find like we make it easier for ourselves, really, and then we want to branch out with everything else. Then yes, we will definitely probably come out with some more, I would say.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I knew it was unique. I mean, there's nobody else doing anything like this. So, round of applause for thinking outside the box and finding a solution to, a problem that can be solved with a boulder, if there's a boulder.
Yep.
Right. And it's not
Exactly 2.5 inches tall, like I found a good boulder, but it's 5 inches tall, right? Like,
Exactly.
and then you got to carry it and you realize how heavy boulders are.
yeah. I love traction boards for leveling vehicles. It's the way I've always done it before I grabbed one of these. It works. It's another option, but I'm becoming more and more used to just jumping out, stand on the rock rails, push the tent up, lock the poles in. Traction boards can stay where the traction boards stay, and those are kind of better to have them and not need them, and hopefully you never have to pull them out. And the other thing is like, and I've done this too. What's the height on it? Is it 10 inches?
Yeah, it goes up to 10 all the way.
Because I have had this. I'll bet I've had it a good 6 inches on one side.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's super legit. And most traction boards aren't going to get you that high, unless you just happen to carry 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 of them. Yeah, as long as your car is stable, you can level yourself.
Yeah.
We've actually gotten to the point where like we'll throw it up, and because you have these, it's like having another toy. So you're like, oh man, I'm gonna like get my vehicle up in that corner of the campsite over there.
Exactly.
So much room. And then when you level it out and open up the tent, you're like, we need to move the car. That doesn't seem quite safe.
At least
really, like the way we see it. Yeah, like the way we see it, it's just another freedom tool. Just like your car or dirt bike, snowmobiles. It's just another way to get to a better place.
There's nothing worse than sleeping in a slanted tent.
Slanted tent, or I don't know. Just
unless you want to get real close with your buddy.
Yeah.
Cold night.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in the rooftop tent with anybody, it's my wife, and she doesn't want me that close. She's like, no. I'm like, it's rolling. There's nothing I can do about it. She's like, you have the tent levelers. You made it do that on purpose. I'm like,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It makes Valentine's Day that much better.
No, it's cool. I'm excited. So you guys are coming into MOORE Expo. Are you camping at the expo?
Yes.
Sweet.
You definitely will.
Good. The Northology crew is amazing to hang out with. They took MOORE Expo camping. First year was awful. I'm proud to admit that because I know it is better now. But they made it into a lovely. It's so homey down there. So you guys will have a lot of fun. Make sure you come up Friday night. Big VIP party. It's all vendors welcome, and then it's all the VIP. We got a badass band. So every year I take the the crowd favorite band from Big Iron Overland Rally, and then we have them play the after party at MOORE Expo.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, that'd be fun.
they'll come in and rock the house. That's always a good time. Good B2B networking, and then all the VIPs of MOORE Expo, which is going to be a lot of them. Most are signing up for it, so it's definitely going to be a fun, busy, packed room. That'll be a good time. And then camp, come hang out. We're thrilled to have you guys. So I think
Yeah, we appreciate it.
we'll probably have Lee get ready to wrap this thing up. But let's go over just a couple things so people can find you. Flatpeakleveltent.com.
Flatpeak shop.com. We actually changed it. You can get there from both of them. We have extensions, but we were having some problem with level 10, so we put that one up. So.
Flatpeakshop.com. And then on the socials?
We're on Facebook. Everything's just Flat Peak Level Tent, all the way through. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. That's about it. Neither of us really know about the TikTok or any of those. Yeah. We'll get to it at some point. Someone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's still up, I don't even know.
It's still up.
I gotta get with the times myself. If it's still up, we'll see.
I heard that and I was like, we don't need to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, cool. Guys, welcome to the MOORE Expo family. I'm thrilled to have you.
We appreciate it.
We're thrilled to be part of it and really appreciate it. It's been a blast.
I think you guys are going to do great. So for those of you listening, swing by their booth. They are I got to remember, you guys are in the East Hall. You're kind of down by, if I remember right, down by like Garmin and stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, we're caddy corner from the bathrooms. So opposite wall of the bathrooms, I think.
Let me see. I'm looking now.
I'd have to look. Yeah, I know we scheduled that in like the winter, and I was like, man, the weather's going to be rough. And now that it's spring, I'm like, should have gone out.
Man, you guys are in booth number 40. It's funny, when I first started the MOORE Expo, we had a total of like 51 vendors, and then anybody could call me and be like, yeah, it's booth number 40. And then even the second year, I think we went to like 108 vendors, and I could recite it right off the top of my head. Everybody, yeah, you're in the 20 by 20 booth number 40, and now it's gotten to the point, which is cool, but I'm like, are you inside or outside? Like I've got to. So you guys are indoors, booth number 40, which is in the West Hall. You guys are just down from like All Dogs and some other great vendors down over there. So yeah, that's awesome.
How many vendors do you have this year?
Let's see. It's funny because the numbers have changed so many times. We are sitting at probably 215.
Wow.
And then I think by the time all said and done, we should hit about 240. It fluctuates every year. You know, you have so many booths, but one vendor might take. Like I got one vendor outside that took 6 booth spaces, so it's like, wow. Yeah. But for you guys and for anybody else listening, jump on the exhibitor page of MOORE Expo. We update it at least every week, so it's always got fresh blood in there to check out.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, cheers, and we'll plan on seeing you real soon at MOORE Expo. Anything comes up in the meantime, let us know. And for those of you guys listening, check this stuff out. Check them out online, but you can see it in person at the event. So, with all that being said, Lee, thank you for pushing all the buttons, making this possible, because I have no idea how to operate any of this stuff. Big shout out to One Overland and everything fantastic that you guys do. There is so much more than just the MOORE Expo Momentum podcast on there. Lee's got some great shows on there, so make sure you jump in and check them out too. With that all being said, gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Here, we'll see y'all just like soon, next month.
Yep. Yeah, I really do appreciate you taking the time. So thank you.